All right, hey, good morning, everybody. Here we are for another Cars and Coffee. If you're a car guy that wants to know more, learn more about cars, performance, driving, then you're in the right place. I'm Kenny Brown, and over the next hour or so, I'm going to share some of my experience that I've accumulated over 40 years of professional motorsports and also building great cars. We've got a couple things to start off with today. Let's see. The subject we've got for today's talk is adjusting camber at the track, getting more corner exit speed. And then I've got a couple show and tell things. We've got the racing Quartermaster clutch that we had special built for David out in the West Coast, who's building a pretty killer AIX Mustang. And then we're going to answer questions as normal from the Speed Therapy Society. If you're not a member of Speed Therapy Society, please join, because that's where we get the questions that I answer during the week. And of course, you can send in questions live, and I'll try to do what I can to answer if we have time. We've got some exciting news. This is what it says. What we're going to try to do is it once a month, Carrie? Have a guest host. And I think the first one is going to be Ben O'Connor from Impact. And this is the guy that knows more about restraints and belts and safety than anybody I know. Really interesting. When he starts talking, every time he talks, I learn something. That's how knowledgeable he is. So he's going to be our first. That'll be announced on Facebook or through the all social media, and of course the newsletter. If you're not on the newsletter, I'd suggest signing up, because that's where we'll kind of communicate with everybody. And is there a link for the newsletter there?
I will put one in.
Okay. Brad's going to put a link for the newsletter. Art for the month. Okay, see if I can do this without anything falling apart. There we go. Okay, the art for the month. This is Dan Gurney at Le Mans, 1965, and this is one of the coolest pictures I've ever seen, and I just cherish it. He's driving into the sunset, driving with one hand and shielding his eyes with the other. You're probably saying, how do I know it's sunset and not sunrise? Well, that's an easy one. The covers are still on the headlights and the driving lights. What they do is during the day, they cover them up so they don't get plastered with bugs or dirt and grime. And when it turns nighttime, they make a pit stop, they pull it off, and they're ready to go. So that's kind of one of my favorite pictures. Get readjusted. Too much readjusted. As you can tell, I am my own cameraman. So that's the art for the month. Okay, going down my list here. YouTube fans, glad you could join us. We're simulcasting on YouTube Live again, which is kind of like a huge success for us, considering the technology issues we've had getting there. And you can subscribe to the channel. Please like it. I think that does good things. Let's see, the big red button underneath the video. That's to subscribe, right? The big red button, to subscribe. Let's see if you like Cars and Coffee. Oh, check the little bell. That way you get notifications when we're doing things live, so you don't miss it. And of course, don't forget, everything we do live is recorded. So it ends up on the Kenny Brown, YouTube, Kenny Brown TV. And I think we've got how many? 22 episodes?
23.
This is episode 23. So you can always watch the reruns. And, if you're just kind of joining us, if you want to really learn things you won't learn anywhere else. And it's like the straight stuff. It's not BS. It's what I've learned. This comes straight from my experience. It's all I've done all my life in building cars is find solutions. There's always challenges. And so I find solutions, and I've been pretty good at it. Facebook, please remember to like the episode by clicking the button on the bottom, the live broadcast, and of course, please share this with your friends. The more the merrier. If we can get more people, better things happen, and we can do more things. Let's see, and of course, don't forget the that was the thumbs up, and the wrenches that are actually, it's kind of like they screwed up. They made a heart instead of a wrench. So just pretend that the hearts are wrenches. You can send those. And then and again, please share this. If you know somebody that really could benefit from the knowledge I share, well, with you, then of course share it with them. And of course the replays you can always watch on YouTube. And we had I can't remember who it was, maybe it was Ernie or somebody suggested that for the people that watch the reruns at night, we should change the name to Whiskey Cars and Kenny. So you can have your choice. So, the other thing, we started the Speed Therapy Academy this week. We had Tuesday night was the subject, the immersion in the subject, and was kind of really kind of interesting and fun. And we had numerous technical challenges with Zoom, and it kind of like was, it was more of the Ken and Kerry comedy hour, but we got through it. And then Thursday night was typically that's our coaching night. And I did a brief overview of the first week, and then everybody introduced themselves. It was pretty cool. We had a really good group of guys. They all kind of want to do the same thing. They want to learn, understand, and apply. It seems to be the theme. And that's also, I guess, the theme for you guys on Cars and Coffee. Let's see, page 2. I'm moving right along. Oh, okay, here we go. So I always forget this, so Kerry has to put top of the page. If you're just joining us, I'm Kenny Brown. This is Cars and Coffee, where I share just an immense amount of my experiences with you. So hopefully that what I've discovered over the year in creating solutions, if I can save you from making one mistake that's expensive, then I'll feel really good about that. We've got some quick hitters today. And all the questions, by the way, come from the Speed Therapy Society. So again, I'll repeat, if you're not a member, please join. There's a way to join on Facebook, I think, way to join on Facebook. So we got some questions that we'll go through. Okay, Herstifer says, how important are jacking rails for stiffening an S550 chassis? I don't plan on jacking my car up, but who knows? Herstifer, you will be jacking your car up. And they're every bit as much important for being able to jack your car up than it is for chassis stiffening, although it does provide chassis stiffening. A word on that for the 550, we are doing a unique jacking rail for the 550. It's completely different than what anybody else is doing. It's not just a piece of steel under there. We're actually fabricating a jacking rail, and I'll have more information for that in the coming weeks. It's pretty cool. I mean, we just looked at all the different what people were doing out there and what was underneath the car, and okay, we can come up with a better solution than we did. So that'll be coming up. So yeah, you will be jacking up your car. I absolutely, unconditionally guarantee. How do you change your brake pads? So okay, then Edward wants to know. He says, wondering what everybody thinks. This obviously came from the side. What everybody thinks about setting camber. I occasionally track the car, and it's not a daily driver. I have a work truck during the week, but it does see more street than track, sadly. I can hear your pain. Chuck, I don't know. It will be too dramatic from stock. Okay, when we get down to the, that's going to be one of my topics. We're going to talk about in the topic. Now here's another. This is kind of interesting. Wendy, who has got a front grip kit and rear, she got the front and rear grip kit, and she was just amazed. I mean, she just couldn't believe the difference. She's having to reteach herself how to drive. She said the first time, she's not prepared for how quickly the car turns. She said it's usually in her Mustang, she kind of turns in the corner and waits for it to push out and then gets back on the gas. She said, now it just turns. Well, that's the whole point. But anyway, she had a question. So what Carrie scheduled, a 15-minute consult. And I'm going to tell you the answer, but 15-minute consults are expanding the program again because we've got so much interest. And so you can find a link for the 15-minute consult scheduling on the Kenny Brown website and in the newsletter. So you need to subscribe to the newsletter and occasionally on my social media channels. as I open some calls, I think she's going to put up a schedule. Is that right?
Yes.
For 15 minutes?
Yep. We're going to have a schedule on both the upcoming newsletter coming out, and we'll put a link here. And we'll just keep it. We're going to have a continuous schedule. You're going to be doing it on Mondays from 10 to 12, and then on Wednesdays from 4 to 6 every week.
Okay.
So
another new program to reach out to you guys and help you get the information you need. But anyway, her question, she said that, let's see, right now she's got 8-inch 500-pound front springs and seams maybe 7-inch 350 rear springs with an Eibach front sway bar, splitter rear wing. She wanted to know what I thought about the springs and the weights. Well, we got chatting a little bit, and first of all, she doesn't have the torsion release bearings, which are super important for coilover shocks. I think Carrie's going to run off and get one for me. She didn't have torsion release bearings, but she's got kind of a unique situation. She has 60 millimeter springs. Coilover springs come in 3 flavors. The predominant U.S. size is 2.5 or 2.5 inches ID. That's the center of the spring. The JRZs that we use that come from Holland or custom built for me in Holland, they use a 2.25, so it's a 225 ID. And a lot of the other European shock companies use 60 millimeter. That's what she has, the 60 millimeter. But I looked and couldn't find a 60 millimeter torsion release bearing. So just doing the math, the 2.5 is only 100 thousandths bigger. That's 50 thousandths per side. And, it's just having some torsion release is better than none. Here's an example of it. It's pretty much made up of 3 parts. There's 2 washers and then a whole bunch of, see those? A whole bunch of needle roller bearings. And they sit under the spring because, spring is a coil. And as they move up and down, it's just not totally lateral. I mean, they kind of do this kind of twisty thing so that having the torsion release bearing releases any torsion or anything that builds up between the perch and the spring. So it just makes better. And a long time ago, when we made our own coilovers, we didn't have torsion release bearings and we had long springs. They'd end up chewing up the threads on the coilover. So it's really neat. Anyway, I told her to use the 2.5 because they're only 100 thousandths bigger. But anyway, we got talking, and she's got 500 fronts and 350 rears, which is not the best combination. But she said she has some 550s. So I told her to put the 550s on the front. That'd be closer to balancing the 350s in the back. But anyway, that's just kind of an example of one of my 15-minute consults. And Carrie's standing here, so I'm either in trouble or she has something to say.
Okay, Wendy actually is at Summit Point right now.
Oh.
And I don't know if you want to answer this question now or if this is almost a 15-minute consult type question, but she took tire temperatures and she's wondering if it's set correctly. I don't know if you want to write these down and solve it right now, but she has. Let me read you the question. First session.
Let's do it at the end.
At the end?
Let's save it for the end.
Okay, awesome.
So, okay, you're going to get an extra feature. You're going to get tire temperatures today. So anyway, that's an example of one of the 15 minutes. And because she has all our stuff, we are available for technical support, which you're not going to find any better technical support in the industry than right here. It just isn't. So anyway, let's kind of get on to what we want to talk about. Okay, again, I got a little note in here. Thumbs up, click likes, all those little things. So I think what we're going to start off with is adjusting camber at the track. And I've got an extremely good solution that we've been doing for years. Okay, this is a Caster Plus for an SN95. And then Caster Plus is something that we developed because we found that, I keep telling you guys, all the caster the car will take. It needs caster. And with all the caster camber adjusting plates on the market, you can only get so much caster. And I found that if we eliminate the adjustment part and just put maximum caster in, we get maximum caster. But what I recommend you do is you go to your local alignment shop or have alignment stuff, you do it yourself. And I hope you can see this. But what you do is you take it and you get your alignment and you make a little mark either right on there where the bolt is, and you should be setting your car for the street around -1 degree negative camber, somewhere in there. Up to degree and a quarter is okay for the 197s, and of course we always run a 16th toe out with maximum caster. And then what you do when you get to the track, you loosen up and you just drop it down to full negative camber. And from there, as we talked about before, you use your tire temperatures. After you get your pressure set, you use your tire temperature to adjust your camber, and you sort of back it out. If it's a clockwise track, you're typically going to have at least a half a degree, 3/4 degree more camber on the left side than the right side. But you just kind of work with your parameter. You back the camber out, though it's looking pretty good. And I always like to see about 10 to 15 degrees warmer on the inside than the outside on a McPherson strut car. So then you kind of, when you finally get that, you mark that on your camber plate too from next time. And then when you're getting ready to go home, you loosen it up, you push it back to the marks you made for the street alignment. Boom, you're on your way. Pretty simple and easy. In the academy, we're getting really deep into the geometry on how that all works. So that's kind of adjust your camber at the track. Now we've got corner speed. I'm going to push that behind the show and tell. And what I've got today is I'm helping David in California. I'm sort of engineering and giving technical support from afar. He hired me to help him build his AX Mustang. It's S197, but we're doing something different. He didn't want to go supercharged or turbo, but he wanted to make a lot of torque, a lot of power. And I like a lot of torque in my race engines. Horsepower sells engines, torque wins races. I think somebody posted a little note on our in speed therapy. It said, I always say that understeer is you hit the wall first with the front first. Oversteer is when you hit the wall with the back. And also they added horsepower is how fast you hit the wall. Torque is how far you push the wall. So torque is big. Anyway, back to the story. So what we're building, having Wagner race engines up in Wisconsin, who are just amazing engine builders. We're building an all aluminum Windsor that we've got out to 408 is what we ended up with. I wanted 427, but Dennis said that for road race, the extra mass of 427, if we cut the stroke down a little bit, the car would rev quicker and decel quicker. So that's why we got a 408. But it's going to be pretty much a monster. It's full on race engine. Except we are using hydraulic cam, so it's easy maintenance. It'll probably be going to be dry sump with a really cool dry sump system. It's going to be in the 650 horsepower range, and I'm guessing torque is going to be like probably upper 500s at least. So it's going to be a torquey motor. And the cool thing is you set a Windsor like a 351 into an S197, it looks lost. It takes up so little space. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, what I'm getting to is I've had a lot of everything we're doing for them. I'm having custom built to my specs, so that I don't use off the shelf stuff for the most part. Everything I do is, from what I've learned and over the years, I have certain way of looking at things. So everything I've done custom built. We had a custom built 9-inch rear end. Strange and I work together. So Strange now offers we have through Strange a 9-inch road race rear end. For S197, it has a bolt right in, 9-inch road race. You'll never break one of those. If you got GT500 with incredible power. We have one person that's thinking about it because he's got like 700 horsepower, and he's kind of concerned the little 8.8 axles might come flying out someday, which is legitimate. So anyway, I'm getting off the track. Anyway, so we had Quartermaster, who have had a relationship with Quartermaster over the years. They built a special racing clutch. And I kind of want to show you what a racing clutch looks like. So here I am, cameraman, tipping this down again. Tip that out of the way. Yeah. All right. I told you I was my own cameraman. So here it is. Now this is a twin. This is a twin disc. And if you can see, try to get so you can see, there's 2 clutch discs in here, and it's a stack. And with 2 clutch discs, you're never going to lose grip, especially with I've got a light person up here. Okay, there we go. Now you can see it a little better. There's the two discs and the friction surfaces, and you can just tell by the outside this is kind of a different clutch. And this is an 8.5. Quartermaster builds racing clutches in 5.5, 7.25, 8.5, and then 10.4. And looking at the back, you can see this is not a normal flywheel. This is a special flywheel built specifically for racing applications. As you can see, it's kind of like it's got a lot of fasteners on it. So that's pretty cool. That's what a real racing clutch looks like. And also to go with that, we had bell housing. We had to modify because we're using a Tremec TKO 600. It's a 5-speed. And the reason we're using that instead of a 6-speed is pretty simple. Number one, it's lighter. It's a whole bunch lighter. And I can get the gear ratios I want. And I got a road race gear ratio in there. And I had Liberty build it for me, and it's special built. Anybody knows anything about the TK 600s is that you can't shift them over 6,500 RPM. Can't do that yet. You can't shift them over 6,500 RPM, so I'm having it modified. The synchros are out. They have another system in there. It's not really dog ring, but it's another system. So you shift at any RPM. All the gears are treated. Also, this is a high torque clutch, a high torque starter that goes with it. And I mean, when you've got a lot of torque, a lot of compression, a lot of horsepower, getting cars started when it's hot makes a good difference. Now, the one last piece in here is the hydraulic release bearing. Hydraulic release is so much better. I almost lost my computer. Hydraulic release is so much better than just the old-fashioned cable because it's a lot more positive. So that's that. Oh, something I told you that earlier. We have this is the end links for S197 and 550. They came back from the anodizers, so they look pretty cool. I mean, they're adjustable and they're OE style. They're not rod ends like some people use. This is an OE style, so it's not going to rattle or bang. Now they're greasable, so you get long life out of them. Everyone's long life out of as the factory. So let's see, where am I? There we go. Okay, so we got Justin Camber, we got Quartermaster, quarter exit speed. Now, as you can see, by popular request, a whiteboard. Actually, it kind of became necessary for the academy because we were doing a lot of work on the whiteboard, working on suspension geometry and things. So this is the only way to do it. So the question is how to get more corner exit speed. What are you doing? Oh, how to get more corner exit speed. Okay, first I'm going to tell you my artistic skills on a whiteboard board. Let's say on a good day it's rubbish. So you're just going to have to bear with me and take it as it is. So what I've done, I've kind of drawn a corner here. And I've actually made it kind of interesting because it's more than 90 degrees, which sets up a whole bunch of challenges. But either way, I've got this arrow point where the normal apex would be. And we've got some, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's some red markings where the curve would be. And the thing about corner exit speed, is that if you want to get speed out of the corner,
stand to the side.
Stand to the side more. I mean, everything works backwards. Corner exit speed is related to mid-corner. Mid-corner is related to corner entry. And corner entry is related to braking. So, I mean, it's all kind of leads to one. There's not one simple answer for one thing. But as far as corner exit speed, the big thing, it depends on what kind of car you're driving. If you're driving a live axle Mustang, especially with my suspension, you want to do a really, really late apex because I've got them so they can brake really late. And with the front geometry, the car just rotates really fast and you can get back on the gas. So with one of my cars, you'd actually come in pretty late. You get the car to rotate and use a really late apex right here, and that'd carry you to mid-track. By doing that, when you come around a late apex, you're almost looking straight down the track. Now, for like an IRS car, you can actually use more of the traditional line to get your corner exit because they just work differently. But even so, I mean, to get your corner exit speed, you've got to have your mid-corner. You got to hit the apex right, and you need to be carrying speed. Now, the other thing is carrying too much speed into the corner. That can be bad. I came up with a phrase a number of years ago. I was training one of the drivers from Muscle Mustangs. In fact, over the years, I think I trained every editor they had in driving. But his name was Vinny, and we ended up nicknaming him Spinny Vinny. And I came up with the saying that fast in, spin out, slow in, corner out. So he had a really bad habit of just charging into the corner and getting midway, and we end up in the grass. So, I mean, it's really important setting up every step. You need for the corner exit, you got to set up the step before, which is mid corner, the step before, which is corner entry, the step before, which is braking. So that's kind of like a real simple answer to better corner exit speed. The other thing too is better suspension. If you've got just a stock Mustang, I mean, your corner exit speed is not going to be as good as if you've got like one of my suspensions or somebody else's suspension that works pretty good. So, you know, there's not a simple answer other than good equipment, getting your braking down, getting your turn in right, getting good speed mid corner. Like with my Mustangs, you actually are into the gas well before the apex because we rotate, and with the roll center up the front, roll center down the bottom and the back, you don't have to wait as long for the axle to settle. You kind of get back on the gas before the apex. IRS cars, you should, if you've got any kind of suspension on them, you should be able to get back to the gas before around the apex. Now, my 2001 Kermie, who if people have been around for a while know, Kermie was my track car. It was a SEMA car. We introduced it was AGS suspension 3.5. We introduced the front Camber. We introduced the rear suspension, the tubular A-arms, and the new geometry. And I mean, that car, I mean, I could put it anywhere on the track I wanted. I could drive it all day and not get tired. We used to do charity rides at track events, where, you know, for $20, I'd give people a couple laps, and that money would go to a charity. And I could just do that all day and not get tired. So a lot has to do with the car. We still focus on 99 to 04 Mustang SVT Cobras by IRS. I think we're the only people that do. So we've got a number of people building IRS Cobras, and we've also got a number of people that are converting Fox Mustangs to IRS, which is really kind of cool because that's a great. When we get done with it, it's an amazing suspension. So that's kind of corner exit speed. I think. Oh, Wendy and the tire temperatures. Okay, why don't you give me Wendy's tire temperatures?
Okay, Wendy's tire temperature. She just did the fronts, sent the fronts.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Our driver's side out is 123, 128, 130. Should be the inner. On the passenger side, the inner is 135, 120, 115. She said both front now set at a 2.5 camber. Track is mostly all right turns. Should I pull more out of right tire?
Okay, let's take a look at this. And people that have been with me for a while know all about my how I am just emphatical about tire temperatures. And any of our customers that run our stuff, if they call in and say, well, just like Wendy's wanting to know what to do, first thing I ask is, what's your tire temperatures? Because that tells me everything. I mean, that's the very first thing I set when I go to the track. So looking here, we got 123, 128, 130. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, we've got a little less than 10 degrees negative on the inside, which is just about perfect. Now, on the right side, she's 115, 120, 135. She's running the same camber on both sides. Remember I said earlier, on the right side, you run a little less camber. So this is pretty hot on the inside. Now, I think she ought to go down to at least try -2 on camber and see what that does. And then if it's still, like I say, we're looking for 10 to 15 degrees. This isn't quite 10 degrees, but it's pretty close. So she needs to take camber out. I mean, she's got her tire pressure pretty good. She just needs to take some camber out. And that should, can you text back to her, take camber out the right front?
She's actually watching.
Oh, hey, Wendy. So, and then looking at it, you might put just a spritz of air in the right front too. I'd like to see that closer to maybe 124. I think that'd be better. Left side's fine. You're doing good on the left side. So, take some camber out and then do your temperatures again, and then keep taking camber out until you're 10 degrees warmer on the inside. So there, just solve the problem live. You saw it live.
Wendy also has another question that's related to that. Let me get to where it is. She also said that also on taking tire temperatures, I get a highest temperature with probe going in first, then it drops over a second or so. Which temperature do I want? Highest icing the gauge or average?
If I'm understanding you correctly, that when you first take the temperatures, that they're hotter than a little bit later.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's okay if it really doesn't matter, as long as, it's what you're looking for. I mean, if the tires are super hot when they come in and they maybe cool off 5 degrees or so, it doesn't matter because it's going to be relevant across the tire. So whatever you're taking the tire temperatures at, if it drops, then I think I'd be looking to, because you're looking at the average between the inside and the outside. So I think I'd be kind of looking at if you get very hottest temperature, that'd be best, but it's all relevant. I mean, the tire is going to cool down at the same temperature for the most part, especially if you do what I call a tire temp cool off lap. Okay, the best way to get tire temperatures, the way I do it is, I'll go storming around, and when I start out, and as soon as the car starts to feel off, I'll dive into the pits, keeping up some good speed so tires are really hot, do tire temperatures, take some air out and go back out. Now at the end, if you're going to look at the end of the session, if they allow you to stop in the pits at the end of the session, then take them right away. And the other trick that I do is if you after the checkered flag, if you do them in the pits, thing to do is on your cool down lap, cool down the straightaways. I mean, go easy down the straightaways. Let the engine cool down, the brakes cool down. But the corners, try to keep cornering speed up. I mean, you don't have to slow down the corners. Keep cornering speed up so you're going to get a better tire read. The other trick is if you know the length of the session and you have like a clock in your car, you can watch the clock. And what you want to do is you want to try to guess one lap before the checkered flag and come in, so you have time to take your tire temperatures before they throw the checker flag and everybody comes filing into the pits. So here's a couple of tips.
And Brad had a comment too, and this may have been what Wendy meant. He said, when using a probe, let the temp stabilize on the gauge first.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, when you're using the probe, let the temperature stabilize. I mean, if you put it in and it's like 130 and dropping, just wait till it stops. 130, 129, 128, then just let it stop until it stops. And at that point, do the rest of your tire temps. So yeah, that's a good point. Something I should remember, but I didn't. So we have other questions?
Yeah, I want you to ask for more questions.
Oh, send some more questions in. I mean, we got the bulk of today's episode is already done. So now I'm ready to take your questions live. We took the questions from the Speed Therapy Society, and now it's from you guys out there. If you're just joining us late, I'm Kenny Brown, and this is Cars and Coffee, and I've already gone through the show and tell and some tech stuff, and now we're getting down to answering questions. And we just did a double question for Wendy. So next.
Okay. Oh, Dale Hughes mentions that when you mentioned your charity rides, he goes, you used to drive that car all day long, ride after ride, and that was so true.
Yeah. Dell was part of the track guys, and he just made the comment that he used to drive that car all day long, and I did, and it was just so easy to drive.
So Herstripper has a question regarding. He said, so for the live axle, a line more like a go-kart when you were drawing the lines?
Not really. I mean, a go-kart has no suspension, and you go-kart. I mean, you want to be really fast. You're using a lot of slip angle. I mean, you're not driving around the corner. You're kind of going through the corner with some slip angle, so you get major speed. So it's a little bit different than a go-kart. But it's for a live axle. It's just here's the trick. If you get into the gas and you're running off the road after corner exit, your apex was too early. Try going later and later. And you keep running off the road, just keep it later and later. Now, late apex is the absolute hardest thing to learn when you start track driving. Everybody's tendency is early apex. And I know this. I've chased literally hundreds and hundreds of people, and I've coached lots of drivers. And, especially the people that are novice or intermediates, getting past that early turn in is a real challenge. It's something you just have to work at. You have to knock on your brain and say, okay, I want to go later this time, and later, keep going later and later. And at one point, you're going to do a late apex, and you're going to go, whoa. I mean, it's just, you get around the corner, the track, it opens up in front of you. You're not running off the track. You're right down the middle and going like crazy. So, yeah.
Back to Wendy, since she is at Summit Point this weekend. Brad also mentioned, can you show Wendy where to mark the camber plates for each camber degree setting?
You actually have to do that beforehand.
Okay.
I mean, you can do that yourself. It's like with a that's another thing you can do if you've got access to an alignment rack. You can take and you can either do right on the chassis or on the camber plate. You can write this is 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, which will give you a quick reference. You can maybe take a scribe and scribe the metal. So that's a good point. That's something you pretty much have to do ahead of time.
Also, somebody's asking, can you show the proper line for a carousel?
For a carousel, okay.
You want to draw?
Well, a carousel, I can talk through that.
Okay.
A carousel, there are lots of different carousels. There's big ones, there's little ones. Blackhawk has a carousel that's small. Putnam has sort of a carousel, but it's actually a left-hand uphill, dead bear turn. Road America has a massive carousel. The easiest thing to do in a carousel is park the car in the middle of the track. All the way around. You keep going all the way around, keep feathering the gas. You want to let it dance a little bit, like at Road America. I just put just enough gas I can feel the car doing, kind of like doing this little dancey thing, but not getting loose. And then as soon as you see typically after a carousel, you're going to see the curb at the exit. As soon as you see that curb, you just put your foot down and pull the car right up to that curb and go. The other thing is different cars will handle differently. Now, at Putnam, I'll drive the carousel differently with a live axle car than I will with Kermie, my IRS car. With Kermie, it didn't matter where I was, I would get around the corner quickly. I could just pretty much put it inside, outside, didn't make any difference. But for a live axle car, I always stay in the middle. And then, like at Road America, I'll be coming down that hill, and just as soon as I see that curb, man, my foot is just bang and pushing it through the floorboard. And just carry a ton of speed off that corner. One time I carried so much speed through and off the carousel that there was a Porsche GT3 RS, an older race car ahead of me, and he had no choice other than let me by. Another time I did the same thing, and there was a Ford GT in front of me, and I carried so much speed out of the carousel, And then I just went flying through the kink. He had no choice but to get out of my way because I was coming. So, I mean, it's just, you have to try. I would suggest trying different lines because different tracks are going to have different lines and different cars are going to have different lines. But always start in the middle. The middle is safe because you can let the car go out. You can bring the car in until you can see that corner, the curve at the corner, and just dive for that sucker and put your foot down. Okay.
That sounds good. We also have a question from Andrew Fox. Any autocrossing pointers?
Okay. I'll try to do the best I can. I have to be very honest. I haven't autocrossed since the 70s. Okay. I used to autocross, but then when I discovered road racing, it's kind of like, my whole life changed. Autocrossing, I think when I autocrossed, I did two feet driving. I would use the gas and the brake at the same time, and I would use the brake to kind of load the car up. But it's again, you're going to, depending on the car you've got. I mean, you just got to find your way around. Try different things. But, the only tip that I can give you that I remember is left foot braking. That way, coming through a corner, I got the car loaded up and get off the brake and just scoots. And it really doesn't get your brake pads that hot because you're not out there that long. So that's another trick I do for starting a race. Okay, starting a race, my foot's down and my foot's on the brake and the motor's straining. And just through the green flag, I get off the brake and boom, I'm already got the motor spooled up the way I go.
Okay, and we are televising live on YouTube. So if you're from YouTube, welcome. And also you can watch all the replays on YouTube as well on the Kenny Brown Performance Live TV channel.
No, it's not Kenny Brown Performance.
Yeah, it is.
YouTube Kenny Brown TV. I know I had to look it up for somebody.
Okay. Okay, so here is another question. I can find it. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Jim Flattery. He said, can you restate how changing the camber on passenger side will change the temperature on that side of the car?
Yeah, that's easy. Okay, she's running 2.5 degrees negative camber. By changing the camber, what we're doing is we're standing the strut up straight. Negative camber is when the top of the tire tips in, the bottom kicks out. And she's running too much, so the strut, it's pretty easy because the strut is actually, strut suspension is actually basically a 3-point suspension. You got 2 points on the lower control arm, and you've got 1 point at the top, which is the strut. By taking the strut and moving it outboard, you're going to take some of the camber out. So I mean, it's pretty easy. You move the top in to get camber, you move the top out to take camber out.
And then we have another question on what was the name of the company that built that bell housing?
Quartermaster. When we were in Chicago, they were kind of right down the street from us. We built up a really good relationship over the years. They do all my racing clutches. I mean, it's a great company with great products. The only problem is they were in Illinois. We're in Illinois, so this summer with all the shutdowns, it was kind of a pain waiting to get parts from them. But they're kind of getting back in motion. But no, they make great clutches. I mean, if you're interested in a good clutch, let me know. The bell housing is a quick time. They pretty much make all the aftermarket bell housings that are good. But they've got. I should mention that they have. Quartermaster has come out with an absolutely great, and I mean great, clutch system for mod motors. They've got single. The one I like is it's a twin disc, pretty much like this racing clutch. It's a twin disc clutch, and the pedal effort is pretty much like a standard car, and it'll take like over 1,000 horsepower. So and that they have clutch and flywheel together. It's a pretty cool setup.
I think that's on our website.
Oh. Gary reminded me it's on our website.
And Brad, if you could list that link on the website, that would be appreciated. And then also, we're getting back to Andrew Fox, who asked the question regarding the autocross pointers. He said he has 06 Mustang GT.
06 Mustang GT. Okay. It's a 3-link. it depends on what kind of improvements he's made to the suspension. Boy, that's a tough question without knowing more about it. 15 minute.
15 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you schedule a 15-minute because I don't have quite enough information. And I can tell you, I know that we just sent a whole rear grip kit, front grip kit, shocks and springs to a customer in Oregon who's doing autocross. And her problem was the back of the car was loose and it just wouldn't take a set, turning into a corner. She's they're accidentally installing it this week. And she's got an autocross coming up and she's going to be blown away because with the rear grip kit, the back is not going to wag. I mean, it's not going to come out. If it comes out a little bit, it's totally controllable. And with the geometry in the front, it's like, boom, you turn and the car turns. You don't have to wait for the tires to take a set. You just turn the wheel and it turns. So she's going to have a really good experience next time she goes out. But yeah, let me know because I just need to know what kind of stuff is in the car. And then I gave you a better answer from that.
Okay, and then Steve Calistini, who's actually in the academy.
Hi, Steve.
For Camber Adjust, I built a set of clear acrylic templates with center cutouts for setting 3 degrees, 2.5 degrees, etc. trackside. Just overlay on the strut tower and adjust to center hole. That
is pretty cool. Now, Steve Castellini, he's in the Speed Therapy Academy, and he's actually I think a jet mechanic, or he used to be an aviation type mechanic, so he's really skilled. He made a air scoop for his transmission, which is, I mean, the guy's got some talent. So he's smart. He's got some talent. See if he can post that up for us in the academy. That'd be really good information for other people to see.
Okay. Well, you can ask him. He's listening.
Hey, Steve, can you post that up in the academy so that people can see? I really like that idea. I think that's really good.
And that's the type of stuff that we're sharing in the academy as well. So I think, is there any other questions, people? I think that was it that we had for today.
We're running out of questions.
Although I would love for you to show that clutch again. I don't think people really saw the double. Do you have the clutch?
Yep, the clutch is right here.
I'm just going to show that again. I think that was pretty interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if you gave it enough justice.
Okay, I'm going to have to. Now I can't see my screen, so tell me when it. Oh, camera's falling off. I told you I'm my own cameraman. Can you see it yet?
Yeah, you can see it. Not all the way down. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the 8.5 racing clutch, and it's a twin disc. And if you look, you can see the 2 clutch discs. And these are plates. These big steel things are the plates. The clutch, the friction discs actually sit in between. And the way a two disc works is these plates, the steel plates, are fixed. They're pretty much attached to the clutch housing, and the discs, which are there and there, are the clutch discs, which spin free. So as you depress the clutch, it releases pressure, and when you let the clutch out, I mean, these babies grab like that. And with this kind of clutch, I mean, even with 600 pounds of torque, he's not going to hurt this clutch. I mean, it's pretty durable. And plus, the other thing is this is not just a regular flywheel; it's actually a 2-piece flywheel. And you can see by all the little fasteners in the back that there's a lot more to it because these other little ones around here, they're actually holding on. There's a friction disc, separate friction disc from the flywheel that's underneath the first plate. And I don't know if you can barely see that. It might reflect a little bit. But that friction disc, that's what all these little bolts are around here. It's friction disc. So it's actually a 3-piece flywheel, I guess you could say. Because you've got the outer and the inner and the ring. So yeah, I mean, this is the real deal. This is real race car stuff, and it's pretty cool. And the one for the mod motor that they have is a lot different from this. It's something really new for them. It's a very new design, and they're pretty excited about it. We are too. I mean, you can't do it that way. I just pull it up so I can see. Okay, I'll do this. So
Oh, okay.
Any more questions come in?
Yeah, we do have another one. Kobe Ward, he would like to know, for S197, which grip kit is more beneficial, the front or the rear grip kit?
That's pretty easy. I tell people if they're building a car in steps, rear grip kit first. Absolutely. I mean, anybody that's tried to get on it's got like any S197 that's got some grunt to it, especially when GT500s with all that torque. The GT500 guys absolutely love the rear grip kit. I mean, it just really settles it down. So rear grip kit, the process I tell people if it's doing the stages, rear grip kit first, spring and shock package second, and then front grip kit third. And that way you're not taking things off or doing things out of order. It's in the order that makes the most sense and gives you the most value for your investment into your car. Rear grip kit, spring and shock package, front grip kit. And we've got some really, really nice spring and shock package options too. Coilover. Everything I do is a coilover. That way I can adjust the spring rates and any coilover package that people get from us. The shocks come assembled, pre-adjusted with a setup sheet and kind of like a basic 101 tuning guide. So,
okay, I think that's it. Does anybody have any other questions?
Well, there's no more questions. I think we were going to. What are you pointing at?
Correct. So.
Oh, hey, I got a speed secret for you guys. It's been sitting over here for a couple of weeks. I keep forgetting about it. Getting your hands clean. You're working on your car. You got lots of grime and grit in your hands. There's a lot of, most people grab a Gojo or something like that. I hate that stuff. I don't like what it does to my hands. What I've been using, and I'm using this for an incredibly long time, it's really simple. It's just Boraxo soap. I mean, it's old. I mean, I had to buy a new tube because what I really have is a big box that's so old, it's looking tattered and late, and the letters are kind of faded. So I had to go out and get a new one. But I've got a huge box that I've had for 20 years. And
it lasts forever.
And it lasts forever. What I do is I just pour it into a Starbucks cup and put the lid on and use that as my little shaker. But it is the most amazing hand cleaner you'll ever use. When you're cleaning your hands, it feels rough. You think it's going to take the skin off your hand because it's got a lot of pumice in it for scrubbing. And then when you rinse your hands off, they're just silky smooth. It's just amazing stuff. It's simple, just Boraxo, right out of the ground, borax. So that's my speed secret, how I get my hands clean. And we have Kurt's been working with us lately, and he was using like our like regular hand cleaner and dish soap. And I gave him the Boraxo. I said, use this, and he was kind of skeptical, and he loves it. I mean, he just thinks it's the greatest stuff going. He bought some for himself at home. So that's my speed secret. Get your hands clean, Boraxo. It's cheap, and it's amazing what a job it does on getting your hands clean. And they feel good afterwards. The trouble I had with like Gojo and things like that in the wintertime, and my fingers would actually crack a little bit. So yeah, I like things simple. I don't like a lot of additives and stuff, and borax is just plain simple.
Okay, I have one more that I missed.
Oh, I see it. Joseph. Can you address Fox body suspension? Okay.
Darling.
Fox body, it's kind of like in some ways, it's a sore subject because I really want to get a new suspension put together, but I just haven't had time. We used to have for the Fox body, we actually use the SN95 stuff on the Fox body because it's a close fit. The front K-member, with just a little bit of modification, fits. So we actually had the front K-member. We still have the front K-member in production right now. That's got the good geometry. I got some of the geometry fixed, along with the Caster Plus on top. And we have an amazing coilover shock package for both live axle and IRS cars. And the shocks are custom built for me by Strange Engineering. I went to them a long time ago. I got this whole thick book of shock dynos, and I said, okay, this is kind of what I like in a shock. And talked to Dimitri, who's our shop guy. He said, yeah, we can copy that, duplicate, I should say. So, yeah, they're building this double adjustable front is the only one we can get for SN95, and a lot of guys at Fox are using them, but you have to use a 96 and newer front hub. And then we've got the same thing. We got either double or single adjustable for the back, either in live axle or IRS. What we used to have was we called it, what was it called?
Track Kit?
Track Kit Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Track Kit Plus. And it was a combination of axle brackets, which brought the control arm down and brought the instant center up a little bit in the front. And then we used a panner bar. Now, the thing about Fox and SN95, it's a double splay rear suspension. You got the front arms about 45-degree angle out, the bottom arms about 3-degree angle in. And because it's got the double splay, it's self-centering. Everything keeps it in place. The problem with that is if you kind of do the calculations, the roll center, the back of the car that wants to roll around the point, the car wants to roll around, it's pretty high. It's almost in the trunk, which is why they kind of get so loose in the back going around the corner. We did a panner bar, and we put it low at the bottom of the differential. Like I've told people before, I like my roll center at the bottom of the differential, and wherever the panner crosses the center line of the car, that's your roll center. That mirrors the roll centers we had on the Trans Am cars we did back in the 90s. We put a Watts link on the bottom of the diff, because in a Watts link where the pin is, that's the roll center. So we get the benefit of a Watts angle on the bottom of the diff horizontal, and then just went out to the frame, which is easy because they're an underslung frame. So, I mean, I couldn't do that with a Mustang, so we just used a panner bar and moved it down to the bottom of the differential. That also carries over the S197. We've got the roll center relocation kit in the S197 moves the panner bar down. We were the first people to do that in the industry, and now I see a lot of people putting the panner bar at the bottom. Anyway, what I'm getting to, we didn't bring that suspension system back into production after we moved back to Indianapolis, and there's a real simple reason. It was quite literally it was a pain. It worked incredibly well, but it was a pain. I mean, we used the panner bar to defeat the roll center the suspension had in the trunk and put it at the bottom. The only problem is the axle itself is self-centering, so we're not using the panner bar to self-center. So it was absolutely critical that the panner bar be, when the car's laden, with at least a half a tank of gas, that it's at neutral, total neutral, that you can slide the bolt in and out on the panner bar. People didn't read the instructions, and if the bar's not dead neutral, if there's zero preload, what happens is all of a sudden the panner bar is pushing one way or the other against the centering of the axle, and what happens is something got to give, and we actually ended up strengthening the system several times just because people don't read instructions. And the other issue we had is I think we had at least four different versions, maybe five, I can't remember, because with so many different exhaust systems. Everybody had different exhaust system, and they, wanted the suspension stuff, and it was such a pain because if you looked under the back of the Fox SN95, the amount of real estate is really slim. There's hardly any room to move things around, and putting extra tubes in there for the Track Kit Plus, we constantly were running into the fact that it was somebody's exhaust would be hitting, even though we had different versions for different exhaust. It's like no two people are going to mount their exhaust system the same, number one. Secondly, when they mount the exhaust, they think they've got clearance, but exhaust gets hot, it expands. So, I mean, we had so many challenges with that we just, I didn't want to bring it back because I think there's a better way to do it. I've got, and it's pretty far down the list, but at some point I'm going to do a new rear suspension for the Fox and SN95s and blow everybody else away. And it's totally blow everybody else away. It's going to be a bolt-in 4-link with the same geometry as the S197 we have right now. So that's maybe a year off or so. Okay, now she holds it up where I can't see it. If you like what I'm sharing, now you put it in front of the camera.
It's so sincere, isn't it?
I don't know. I think I'm going to be talking to Vanna White after this. If you like what you're sharing, you do me a favor and share with your friends. So I share, you share. And tell us what you like about Cars and Coffee, what you'd like to learn about, especially. And like I say, all the questions come from the Speed Therapy Society. You want to know something, if it's short and simple, I'll feature it in my quick hitters. If it's something a little more complex, you can schedule a 15-minute and we can kind of talk through it and see if I can help you out. But getting back to your question on the Fox, I mean, I wish I had better news. Here's my suggestion, and it's going to kind of go against everything I said. I need to take a water. Now, I don't really berate Watts links because they're the best, absolute best way to locate an axle. Because with a Watts link, that thing has a little pivot in the middle. They move straight up and down. With a panel bar, you've got a little bit of an arc. So Watts link is the best. The problem I have with the Watts link is wherever that center pin is, that's the roll center. And you really cannot get it down as low as we got in the Trans Am cars, bottom of the diff. You just can't get down that far. So that's why I use the panel bar, because we can get down that far. Now, so I'm not a fan of Watts links. However, here's my suggestion. I just thought this up several weeks back. Somebody asked kind of a similar question. My suggestion to improve the rear suspension, the front suspension, we got you handled. We got a great Camber control lines. The rear suspension, I would suggest you get our axle brackets, which will bring the instant center up a little bit, which for more grip, and then find a Watts link that has adjustments that go really low. I think that's going to be your best option. That's going to get a little traction from my traction brackets, and you're going to get that roll center down. I mean, anything's better than a trunk. So if you can get it down just between the center and the bottom differential, I mean that's a big plus. So that's kind of my
wait a year until you
or wait a year or so for the real deal. But I don't think I would put that on for now, and then when the new stuff comes out, then you're ready to go. So.
I forgot. Dan maybe is here. Was looking forward to Kenny being part of the Mustangs on the Mission experience. So let me tell you a little bit about this. So Kenny is a guest speaker on the 22nd of Saturday, the 22nd at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. What Dan is doing, if you don't know about Dan, he has Cruise for the Cause. He raises single-handedly, him and his wife, around $100,000 each year for cancer and prostate research, and he brings awareness to that. Because of the COVID this year, he has not been able to get to all his events. He raises this just by going to car shows.
Shows and other events.
Yeah, and other events. So what he has come up with, and it's brilliant, he is having a virtual car show. You can get the link on our site. On any of our Facebook pages, we'll have a link on there, and we're sending out a newsletter with it. But anyway, you can go. He's having a 2-day virtual event, Friday and Saturday, and a car show. So you can attend the car show for $20, guys. It's a bargain. Plus, what he's doing is for from 12 to 7 every day on those 2 days, he is having industry experts throughout the country talk. One of them is Kenny. There's people from Ford, there's people from Shelby, there's a ton of people you want to listen to. They're going to be on for about 20 minutes to a half hour talking throughout those days. I think he has maybe 30 people. I don't even know. But anyway, you can go to cruiseforthecause.org to get more information. Dan, if you want to post the link up right now, that would be great. And it's Mustangs on the Mission, on a Mission, and it's called The Experience. It's an awesome thing to do.
And it's for a great cause.
It is for a great cause. So $20, and
that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, because he does a whole lot of events during the summer, raising money for cancer, and obviously he's not doing much. So this is a great idea. So I certainly encourage you guys to kind of sign up, and if nothing else, even if you can't watch it, sign up so you can get the money donated.
Yeah, and I think he's eventually, if you sign up for the $20, you can't make it. I think somehow he's going to have replays for you, so you can watch it afterwards. So it's definitely worth a good cause, and it's an incredible event.
Yeah, plus they're absolutely wonderful people. I mean, anybody that dedicates his summers, he's doing this for years, to raising money for cancer. I mean,
Here's the link. It's mustangsonamission.org. That's where you can sign up. And I think the car show, you can only sign up through next week, but you can sign up to listen to other people after that date. But get in on the car show. He has a really cool idea on the virtual car show as well. Again, mustangsonamission.org. And hopefully you'll donate and be part of the program.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting here holding the torsion release bearings.
Okay,
They just happened to be standing
one
here.
more quick question because it just came in. Just to verify, Kenny Brown Performance is no longer doing anything with the MN12 Thunderbirds, correct?
Yeah, no, we, after, most of you know that I had to take a health hiatus for like 5 years or something like that. And we were bringing all our suspension bits back because we had, while I was gone, we kept the website up. We had so many people just waiting to get my parts back in. So we started just a little bit on a small. Mark Scott is a friend of mine. He was part of the Riley and Scott, the race car company. And we were doing small builds, and we're getting more demand than we can handle. So we licensed a company in Chicago to build our stuff, and it was not a good experience. So we waited until the license expired. I mean, the contract expired, so we can get our brand back. And we came back to Indianapolis, and essentially we had to start over the parts program. And we've got all the core products back into production. And I can tell you that right now we have the best quality, the best fitment that we've ever had. And people are just raving about how my stuff works. And Wes, who does some install work for us. In fact, he did the install for the rear grip kit.
His photography
video, and the rear grip kit. I mean, he's helping fit something new for us this week. And he was saying that he's worked with a lot of the aftermarket people, and I won't say names. I don't like to say anything bad about anybody else. But he mentioned several other companies that he said, well, yeah, they're okay. He said, but you do things so differently. You're so different from everybody else, and your stuff works. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this is because I've been doing it for over 40 years. I've got 7 national championships at professional level to my credit. So, yeah, and what I've done is all self-taught. When I run into an issue, I just find a solution. And that's how our parts program came into be, because what I was looking for wasn't available. So I just created it. And that's how our whole parts program go. And our parts program is not like everybody else. You don't see a gazillion control arms, anything like that. It's just like basic stuff, because everything on our website is what I use in building the cars. The cars come first and the parts come second. And that way you can be assured that, what you get is tested, approved. It's going to be good stuff. I mean, because that's, I'm always looking for suppliers and parts, quality, value, and performance. So, and customer service. Yeah. We've got some companies we've been dealing with for years and years that have just tremendous customer service, great products, and we stick with them. So, are we good for everything? Oh, okay. Well, I guess that kind of wraps up this week. Next week, I think we postponed one subject because I had the clutch stuff, the Quartermaster clutch that I wanted to show, because we're shipping it out to David on Monday. We're going to talk about, this is by request, how I go about building a performance car, which is that's going to take, I think, pretty much a good portion of next week. And we've had more than a couple of people ask us about that. Just how do I do it? How do I end up with these great cars? And so I'm going to share not all of my secrets, but I'll share a few because a lot of the stuff that I've done, the proprietary stuff, I've taken years to figure this things out. But I will share as much as I can, and it'll be kind of interesting because I do like Wes said, I just do things so differently. So with that, I think that will wrap up this week. Thank you for joining me, and Vanna White. And I will see you next week at 11 o'clock, where we'll talk about building performance cars and race cars. I can throw race cars in on top of that. Mm-hmm. And again, send your questions in, because that's how I develop the content for the Saturday morning Cars and Coffee, is the questions I get through Speed Therapy Society.
Oh, you got 4 wrenches from Brian West this week.
And Brian's one of our Academy members too. And also he's a past customer and current customer. So, yay, Brian. So, okay, Brian, we'll see you Tuesday night. And everybody else, I'll see you next Saturday morning. And if the weather's nice where you are, get out and enjoy it. Drive your car, roll the windows down, turn the radio off, and just listen. I mean, that's kind of like the best therapy I can recommend. So we'll see you next Saturday morning. Thanks for